about you is you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. I will be joined in a little bit by the homie Martin, and we will break down Skylar and Tua's performances on the All-22. And you know what Reason had to do? He had to make the All-22 look pretty for y'all. So we got some pretty All-22 for y'all, some done up with some nice, ribbons and bows. So we're gonna go over that. On top of that, as usual, getting into the swing of things, people are out here doing preseason game previews and preseason game post-game shows when these games don't matter. I'll wait till the games matter, but until then, I'll still give you guys the PFF grades as they come. So we'll go over the PFF grades. On top of that, like I did last week, I'll do it again this week. I'll do my 5 biggest takeaways from this preseason game. But I'm excited to dive into the film, man, because there's a lot to talk about, and before we get into it, there's a lot to talk about in regards to the Dolphins community right now. So I got a lot of things to get off my chest. Number one, all right, because remember, I liked the Skylar Thompson UDF, 7th round edition, as well as a lot of our UDFA editions. But the one thing I pointed out about Skylar was I didn't like his touch accuracy and placement over the intermediate and deep levels. In the last couple of weeks, I've said, hey, I've seen progress there. He's been working on it. When you got a quarterback whisperer like Darrell Bevel, they're going to help you work out your kinks and your flaws. And he's clearly been working on it. He's clearly been getting better, and I mean, since the moment we drafted him, what have I said? I've said Teddy's going to be the one that needs to watch his back, and lo and behold, here we go. Teddy needs to watch his back. I got to get this out though. All these people anointing a 7th round rookie quarterback off 5 quarters of preseason play. Tell me you're a casual without telling me you're a casual. I mean, I really don't know else what to say except that. I mean, the same people who are out here anointing, a lot of the same people who want to anoint him the quarterback one are the same people who got mad at people in this community, wherever it was on YouTube, Twitter, wherever, that anointed Tua Tagovailoa as a franchise quarterback too early for their liking. I mean, the hypocrisy is not lost on me here. It's absolutely hilarious to me that people are anointing him QB1, yet they got all mad for people anointing Tua franchise quarterback way too early. I mean, that's just where we're at right now. Again, a sect of this fan base has made Skylar Thompson a divisive subject when, let's be frank, we're all Dolphin fans. I want to be able to enjoy Skylar Thompson's development and growth because I'm going to tell you what, unlike 99.9% of y'all, and I'm speaking to everyone right now, unlike 99.9% of y'all, I actually watched him before he came out. I actually watched the Kansas State film. All right? And what a lot of people are saying, they see a little bit of quarterback play, and that's automatically their ammo to start attacking another player on this team, being Tua Tagovailoa. Like, why is Skylar Thompson being turned into why is a developmental 7th round prospect who's showing investing in his development, investing in him as a player is better than Teddy for 1 year if you're only going to keep 2 quarterbacks? Why is that becoming a divisive subject? It's ridiculous. Like, we're at the point where we can't even enjoy other players growing at the spot. And I mean, hey, this goes both ways. There's Tua haters that are out here just overly anointing this kid. And there's Tua lovers in the same sense that won't give Skylar props for some of the throws he made on Saturday. Guess what? Both can be true. Tua's the quarterback 1 right now, and Skylar is moving up the depth chart. Both can be true. What's wrong with that? Because here's the thing. You know why Tua's quarterback 1 right now? Throws some of these throws Skylar's made, Tua's made them. The issue we have is Tua doesn't make them consistently enough for us. That's it. Right? You got Skylar in 5 quarters, looks like he's ready to pull the trigger. He's a little trigger happy, where Tua, off his previous last 2 seasons, a lot of people say he's trigger shy. For right or wrong. So all of a sudden now, this kid is becoming a divisive subject when we just can't enjoy him. And again, context to the situation. Guys, not taking anything away from Skylar at all, especially those 2 big boy throws on that second drive. But if the Raiders are on their 4th string quarterback, Garbers, because Derek Carr didn't play and they went through 3 quarterbacks, one of which they traded today, Nick Mullins. If they're on their 4th string quarterback, where do you think they are with their defense? All right, that's number 1 in the 4th quarter when Skylar trots out there. Number 2, the Bucs game. Go look at the inactives pregame. The Bucs start, they sat all their 1s and 2s. They sat them. And again, this isn't taking away from Skylar, but this is context to the situation. Everything Skylar's done, for me to even give you consideration of battling for the QB1 job, you need to do things against 1s. You need to make throws into tight windows against 1s. You need to read coverages against 1s. You need to anticipate against 1s. Buddy, it's a lot different when you're against Tom, Dick, and Harry, who are going to be in lows in a couple of weeks stacking shelves against guys who are not. And again, it's not taking away from Scott. This is the context of the situation. But Scott, hey, I'll tell you this much. Skylar, those 2 big boy throws on that second drive, I don't care if you're a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Don't matter where you are on the depth chart. Those are perfect throws. Those back-to-back throws is a comma. But it's been 5 preseason quarters. Relax. Relax. What did I say? Just this past weekend. Develop him. And he's at a stage right now. If Tua's got to miss 2 or 3 games and that guy comes in, he might catch defenses off guard because there's no tape on him. Once the tape gets out on him, that's when you're going to really see what defenses think of Skylar Thompson. But relax, enjoy the growth, enjoy what Skylar. Why are y'all making this a Skylar Tua thing right now? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Skylar ain't starting week 1. That's just what's happening. So creating all this divide when Tua hasn't even lost his job is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Why? What do you gain from that? See, this is what it's turning into. It's turning into agendas, and people wanted to be right so bad more than this team, than this football team. I like the potential of both Tua and Skylar in this offense. I said it on Twitter. I said it on here. I'll say it again. I like both these guys' potential in this offense. And guess what? If you got 2 capable starting quarterbacks, tell me how that's a bad problem. Tell me where that's a bad problem. That's it. I want both of these guys to play well. It is what it is. But people out here anointing a 7th round pick who's played 5 preseason games QB1, that's as premature as the same people you didn't like calling Tua a franchise quarterback prematurely. Y'all the same people. And remember, this is coming from a guy who I am yet to be on the record anywhere saying Tua is a franchise quarterback. The closest thing I've ever came to that was saying he has shown flashes that have shown he could be worth investing because he could become that. That's a lot of coulds. That's the closest I've come. I've never anointed him a franchise quarterback. And anyone who has, I don't know what tape you've watched because I need the consistency. See, here's the thing. Tua can make all the NFL throws. Tua can make all the NFL reads, but he's not doing it consistently enough on tape and for all of our taste. That's what this comes down to. And there's people who believe he will clean that up and reach his potential and his ceiling. And there's people who believe he won't clean that up and won't reach his potential and ceiling. So the non-believers and the believers. I got time for the non-believers and the believers. We can have discussions. It's the Tua haters who the kid can't do anything right and the Tua lovers where the kid can't do anything wrong that I got a big issue with in this community. And I've been saying that for months and months on end. And this, some of y'all are sucking the joy out of us enjoying prospects developing and growing. That's exactly what this is coming down to. All because you're worried about you're worried about being right, or because you don't like Tua, or because you got an agenda. So, but you're the same people that call these Tuaneers or Tua lovers or whatever. Are you a fan of the Dolphins or are you a fan of Tua? I'm going to ask the same thing to those other people out there with clear agendas. Do you want to see Tua fail or do you want to see the Dolphins be successful? Because right now he's quarterback one. And wishing him to be unsuccessful and fail, that means L's are going to stack up on our record, whether you like it or not. And there's people out there, clearly evident, they want to see this kid fail. Because they just want to be right. So, and I'm going to tell you all you guys overly anointing, God help you if Skylar goes in against ones and falls on his face. I'm not saying he will, because I like what I've seen, and I'll get into it depth. I'm a fan of Skylar Thompson. So, but, I'm not sitting here walking on a ledge and a cliff over 5 preseason quarters. Now, if those were 5 quarters against legitimate ones in the NFL, you'd have a lot more evidence and a lot more foundation to your case for, Skylar challenging Tua, but it isn't. The reality is it isn't. And the reality is, and I'll show you tonight, he was missing reads. I don't know why, how many times have we got to hear last year about Tua missing, whether you go on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, Tua missing open reads? Skylar Thompson's second throw of the game. Hunter Long up the left sideline. The guy would still be running like Forrest Gump. Didn't even look that way. Locked on Eric Izakama in a deep dig route. Not going through his progressions, not reading all through levels, locking into a receiver to the point where 2 linebackers hang underneath because they're watching the eyes, and Preston has to turn his out into like a fade back pivot to get into his throwing lane and his sights so he can make a throw underneath to an outlet. And he missed. Hunter Long would still be running. Hunter Long would still be running. And if Tua would have done that, and I'm being objective here. If Tua would have done that, I would have to log on Twitter, read about it. I'd have to see YouTube videos made about it. I'd have to see Facebook posts about it. All I'm saying is let's keep the same energy. That's what I'm doing. When I broke down the ALL-22, whether it was Jacoby or Tua last year with Martin and Ball game, if they missed open reads, we called them out on it. And I'm going to do the same with Skylar. Because that's objective. Because you know what? I might believe in Tua's ceiling in this offense, with this staff, with this personnel, but I'm still objective with Tua. I still lay out what his deficiencies on film are, and I got no problem talking in depth about them. And I never have. And I'm going to do the same with Skylar. I'm going to do the same with Teddy. I'm going to do the same with whoever comes through and rocks our logo. Because that's what, at the end of the day, unless you're transcendent like Marino, you're transcendent like Richmond Webb, you're transcendent like Clayton and Duper, Unless you're transcendent, I don't give a damn what the name on the back of the jersey is. I'm about this. Period. And guess what? I don't care if it's Tua. I don't care if it's Skylar. I don't care if it's Teddy. I don't care if they trade back for Josh Rosen. I don't care if he's white, black, purple, pink, blue. I want a Super Bowl. That's it. Get me there. I want a Super Bowl. That's it. That's what this all comes down to. I want a Super Bowl. I don't care who gets me there. I remember sitting on my dad's lap crying when we lose in the AFC Championship to the Buffalo Bills. I remember the first game my stepfather watched with me was Marino against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the playoffs, Marino's last game. And it was, if you watched Marino, that wasn't Marino. That was the worst way that guy could have ever gone out. Man, I cried over this team. Man, that 1-15 season, I was working continental shifts, making $30 an hour in the brick industry. All right? Out of college because I was making great money, but I was working continental. So I had to work on Sundays. I had to work till 7. I was still recording every game, avoiding spoilers, coming home and watching every single game after the fact. Wes Welcome was my little white boy. I still found love in that team. Well, yo, man, I've been going through it. I'm ready for a Super Bowl. I don't care who gets us there. Do I believe Tua in this offense can get us there? If he cleans up what I've seen on film, 110%. Can Skylar get us there if he cleans up everything, that was clearly a fall at Kansas State? Who knows, but I hope he can. Because I'm a Dolphin fan. I want to see a Super Bowl. Now, if Skylar puts stuff on the ones against ones, then I'll have more of a thing to say of, hey, can Skylar get there if he cleans all this stuff up? Because I've seen him play against ones. I'll have a way better answer. Again, I will not jump to conclusions with Skylar as much as a fan of him, as much as a fan of a lot of the throws, some of the throws he's made. I will not jump to conclusions. I will not. Hey, if people want to jump to conclusions early and be right down the line, knock yourself out. I'm not jumping to conclusions on this one, bro. I'm not. Like what I've seen, like his trajectory, it's been very positive with what we've seen. Very, very positive. A lot of good stuff to build on. We'll go over the film tonight. You already know what time it is. But, again, guys, we overrated Reed Sinnett last year. Let's call a spade a spade. And don't think it ain't lost on me that some of the people anointing, Skylar, the second coming of Joe Montana, are the same people who said Rosen was that guy, Jacoby Brissett was going to be quarterback 1, Teddy Bridgewater was going to come in here and beat out Tua. Don't think I don't notice that either, right? All these, it seems like the people prematurely jumping to these conclusions have prematurely jumped to multiple quarterback conclusions, and it's all been quarterbacks against that have been rivaling or competing with Tua. So, well, at least they're hitching their wagon to the guy that looks like the most talented of the ones so far. Good for you guys. It only took Rosen, Bridgewater. It only took 4 tries? Hey, even a clock's right twice a day, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. So there you go. And it wasn't third time's a charm. It was the, 4-leaf clover life over here. So don't think I don't see it, bro. Anyone who could play the position or show any semblance of playing it up, their quarterback 1, 2 is losing the job. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. But at least with Skylar, some of y'all are hitching the wagon to the guy who's looked more talented out of all the names you guys claimed would take to his job before. So kudos to you guys for smartening up a little bit, I guess. But, hey, I like what I see from Skylar Thompson. There was things I saw from Tua that I liked. Man, we'll get into it. There is a lot of stuff to look at, and we'll look at it, man. We'll look at it for sure, you know? So, anyways, as always, we're also going to go over the PFF grades. There were some interesting grades for the offense and such. We'll look at the passing charts and everything like that. After that fact, I'm going to give you my 5 takeaways from the game, and then we're going to hop right into the film. Martin, the homie Martin, is going to be probably joining me for the film when we get into the film breakdown. So we'll break down both guys for y'all. And hey, you know what? I like it. Hey, if y'all watch the live reaction, I got out of my seat for those like big boy throws from Skylar, man. I like what I'm seeing from this kid. I really do. I like what I'm seeing from Skylar. I like some things I saw from Tua. I'm fine, man. You know, let me see Tua with the ones, and let me see Tua with this offense. You know, before I start passing, you know, start cutting off heads over here. All right. Let's see what this offense. You know, you're gonna have a good idea in the first half of the season about where Tua's at. And you know, by the end of the season for sure, maybe my half, but by the end we'll have a good idea of what his ceiling at the NFL is going to be. So let it play out, man. You just got to let this stuff play out. And man, you know what? I want Tua to be successful. You know, I mean, let's start with the obvious. Am I the only one here that doesn't want to waste the number 5 overall pick when it's clear we already wasted the number 30 overall pick with no Igbenogany? We really want to have 2 wasted picks in that draft, potentially 3 if Austin don't work out. Come on. All right. And quarterbacks are one of the hardest things to find, as Dolphin fans know better than anyone. So, man, whether it's Skylar or Tua, I'm hoping we just got the guy in the room, because I don't want to go out and pay Brady. I don't want, you know, I'm not interested in paying Lamar Jackson, you know, like, you know, give me, you know, Tua, Skylar, or Teddy right now. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to pay 40 million, 45 all guaranteed to Lamar Jackson. Just not. So I'm hoping that franchise guy's in the room right now. So we'll see. Gotta let it play out as usual, right? So hey, again, having 2 guys that are capable to start NFL games at the position, 3 if you want to count Teddy, is that a bad problem? That sounds to me like we can get some return on one of those guys this year and on another one of those guys over the next 2 years. Right? So, I mean, let's be honest here. Let's just play devil's advocate. You could trade Teddy right now. I mean, Mullins went for like, what was it, 7th today or 6th? So try and get a 5th or 6th for Teddy. If Skylar becomes QB1, you trade Tua before his contract's out. If Skylar just continues to project as a good backup who flashes when he's in there, and Tua becomes the franchise quarterback, then you trade Skylar for a 3rd or 4th, like the Patriots did with Jimmy G and Brissett. So I'm hoping all the guys hit. Let's go. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it all. So, you know, I'm a Dolphin fan here. So, yeah, let's start off. Let's get in. I had to address this. This is just ridiculous. Okay, this is all premature. Ridiculous. We all need to relax. Let Skylar develop. Like, all right, Tua's gonna get the start. Let's all be objective here, because there's a lot of people that are clearly showing they're subjective with this situation. Let's get some objectivity rolling on here. All right. Anyways, let's get into by the way, 410 of you in the room. Smash that like button, subscribe if you are new. Let's get into the PFF grades. And again, for some of you who might be new here, PFF to me is just like a tool. It's not the gospel to me. Now, if their grades back up what my eyes show me on the all-22, I got no problem with that. But I won't get into the details here, but I did some work for them back in the day. At least back in 2019, 2020, they weren't even using all 22. They were using the broadcast views. It was a mess. So And then you get into the thing of, you could have Bills, Jets, and Patriots fans, these guys grading are fans of those teams, and they're grading our game. So it's, they've given out the prerequisite of how they grade quarterbacks, but I feel like we need a charting system, and we need to see exactly how these guys are. We need the in-depth analysis of how every position is graded and their process. And I need a consistent, not so they can put out a video, one of each position, and then they think they're okay. Need to see it consistently. All right. So let's get into this. Start with the offense. So your highest graded offensive player was Eric Izakama, and the second one was Skylar Thompson. Eric Izakama came in at a 93.8 offensive grade. Skylar came in at a 90.4. Durham Smythe came in at 86.2. Tua came in at an 84.3. And River Craycraft came in at an 83. So Condre White came in at a 74, and Teddy even came in at a 72.1. Robert Hunt at a 70.3. And then obviously highest graded offensive lineman for the Dolphins was Robert Hunt with that 70.3. Second highest graded was Connor Williams with a 68.9. Adam Pankey and Michael Dieter were actually your third and fourth highest graded offensive lineman with a 64 and a 64.5 and a 59.3. But then it's bad. Solomon Kinley had a 57.6. Lionel Coleman had a 57. Keon Smith had a 54.8. It's ugly. Liam Eichenberg a 53. So look at the grades at the bottom here. Austin Jackson was your worst graded at a 37.3. Lynn Bowden Jr. at a 41.3. Robert Jones at a 43.2. Ethan Carter, because you know what? I think specifically there's this one pressure in the game where Hunt doesn't get over to his man quick enough, and I think they charge it to Jackson. Ethan Carter, 44, so that was your fourth lowest. Gaskin was your fifth lowest with a 48.6. Mike Gesicki, all right, was your sixth lowest with a 49.5. This man, I'm going to show y'all right now. This man finished with a 0 pass blocking grade. That is holy God. Oh man, they gave him one pass blocking rep, and it was the rep where Bridgewater took that safety, so they gave the man a 0. They straight up said, "You're out of here, bro." What's going on, Martin? How you doing, brother?
What's up, boss? What's going on?
Man, just going over these PFF grades before we get into the film here. He gave Gesicki a 0 on pass blocking, bro. So
but he didn't really pass block, man.
One pass blocking rep, and it was the safety, so they gave him a 0, bro. Killing me, bro. So, oh man. So yeah, anyways, those are your offensive pass grades, guys. We'll stick with the offense before we get into the defense here. So when we get into the passing specifics, so obviously Skylar had the 90.4 offensive grade, and he had an 84.3 for Tua from an offensive grade standpoint. As a passing grade, Skylar Thompson had a 93.9. Tua had an 82.5. Teddy had a 70.9. So when you look at the pressure and such, when we look at the passing direction, this is Teddy Bridgewater's passing chart. I mean, you can see it. Decent over the intermediate level, right? He didn't really test the middle of the field at all, outside of short distance. He was testing the right and left sides. Nothing too crazy to write home about. When we look at Skylar Thompson, though, 3 for 3 on the deep level. He was 0 for 1 on the intermediate level. And then he was 5 for 5 on the short level. And then at the line of scrimmage, he was 1 for 1 for -4 yards. And then Tua, when you look at Tua's passing chart, he was just 1 for 2 on the intermediate level. He was 2 for 2 on the short level. And then he was 3 for 4 at the line of scrimmage or behind it. Now, When you look at when Tua was kept clean, he was kept clean on 62.5% of his dropbacks, and he was under pressure 37.5 of his dropbacks. Now, when he was kept clean, his completion percentage was 80% for 31 yards. And his adjusted completion percentage actually would have been 100%. His completion percentage under pressure was 66.7%. Still good. 27 yards. He actually averaged more yards per attempt under pressure than he did when he was kept clean. He averaged 9 yards per attempt. But his average depth of target under pressure was only 2.7 yards, and his average depth of target when he was kept clean was about 3.2 yards. So when you look at him, and then again, play action, right? He was a 3 for 4 on play action, and he was 3 for 4 on no play action. So, and then let's skip Teddy. Let's get Skylar. We're off Teddy. All right, we're for a little bit here.
Bro, we can't grade Teddy real quick, man.
Oh, we know what Teddy he is, who he is. All right,
I still love Teddy, man.
Yeah, so do I.
Care,
But
man.
if we're keeping 3, I'm in the Skylar camp.
Mm-hmm.
So passing pressure. When he was kept clean, he was 7 for 8 for 87.5%. He actually had a drop charge, so he would have been 100% in an adjusted completion percentage. Under pressure, he was obviously 2 for 2. His yards per attempt when he was kept clean were 11.4. Under pressure, it was 19. His average depth of target when he was kept clean was 8.8. When he was under pressure, it was 15 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, impressive stuff, right?
For sure.
He was really good when he was kept clean. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Play action 4 for 5 with that one drop, for 28 yards and a touchdown, and then no play action 5 for 5 for 101 yards, averaging 20.2 yards per attempt. And his average depth of target on non-play action was 16.4 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive stuff.
I just want to say, what Mike McDaniel is doing right now, with the quarterback room, with the quarterback reps. He's literally, preparing everyone for success, no matter what happens. You know what I mean?
Love it.
And it's just good to see that a guy can come in like that in Skylar and really just display the same type of command that you want out of a starter, which Tua has shown as well. So and Teddy too. Teddy has his own way of doing it. He's a veteran, but it's nice to see all 3 guys that can perform like that, man. It's fun for me, man. I like the situation right now in the quarterback room.
So do I, man. And gonna have a tough decision on hand, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll see how that plays out. But quickly going over the defense here. So your highest graded defensive players, Clayton Fledglam had a 90.1. AVG had an 88.1. Raekwon Davis had an 87. John Jenkins, that push John Jenkins got in the middle on that one play was disgusting. When he just drove the guy back into, I think it was Mullins' lap. It was Mullins or Garber's. So John Jenkins had an 86. Duke Riley had an 82.8. Cameron Good, who has been so impressive. The guy setting the edge, showing a lot more than he did at Cal. I love what I'm seeing from Cameron Good. 82.2. Elijah Hamilton, Kadir Kahu. I love what I'm seeing. 79. We go to the bottom here, though. Your worst graded guys. Calvin Munson had a 30.1. Jalen Phillips had a 39.9. D'Angelo, he played 18 snaps. D'Angelo Ross, who has been a real rough go, especially against the Bucks. He was your 3rd worst at 44.5. Benito Jones, after a really strong performance in week 1, he kind of actually wasn't that noticeable. He had a 46.5. Brandon Jones had a 46.8. Sheldrick Redwine, 48.9. Noah Benogany somehow escaping the bottom 5 with a 49.8. Because he was getting, Noah Benogany was getting toasted. Who's grading this? Noah Benogany should be our lowest graded defender. I mean, what are we talking about here? Am I wrong, though? Buddy, you know what I said to EM? You know what I said to EM? I'm gonna tell you this, and I ain't trying to be funny, everyone, but I'm gonna tell you this. This is when you know you got a problem, bro. Every time Jarrett Stidham dropped back, boom, his head snapped to Noah Igbinogheni's direction,
Wow.
bro. Without fail, every time. I was watching Jared Stidham's head while I was live. I called it out, bro. I didn't have to go back and watch the film. You know how it is. You're like me, bro. We watch the quarterbacks' heads as soon as they drop back,
Right.
and and you could see it right away. Boom, right to where Noah is, and just eating underneath. And like, man, bro. They were feasting off of Noah. I mean, I don't know how this guy escapes the bottom 5, bro.
And honestly, man, it's getting to the point where the same way, just in general, people critique the quarterback position. As far as the Miami Dolphins is concerned, Noah at cornerback is one of those positions where we're just looking at him and we keep seeing the same kind of, disinterested vibe from him. Like he doesn't really want to play football. And it's like, damn, man, like you can, he has the talent to do it. But trust me when I say, man, there's people that are far less, athletically gifted and far less talented. But when their mind is completely, magnetized by, being good, I mean, things just come out of you. And Noah has not shown that from us yet, man. So it's tough to watch. Mm-hmm.
Bustedd. Noah Igbinogheni's a bust to me. All right, that's exactly what that guy is, bro.
That's tough, man. That's tough, man. That was a high pick.
Because I haven't had this conversation with you yet, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had it with EM and a couple other people. We're shooting ourselves in the foot with him because we keep putting bad tape out there too. Like we're killing his draft value with every rep. It's literally a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean. And here's the thing. I get he's 22, but we're third year in the NFL. We need to see the light at least flickering. You know what I mean?
I think the telltale sign is because this is what we'll say as far as our 2020 first round draft picks are concerned, right?
Yeah.
Tua came in and his room and his mentorship was Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jacoby Brissett, right? And now Teddy Bridgewater. Austin Jackson, his mentorship coming in was Eric Flowers, Ted Karras, so you got those rookies coming in as first round picks and they have like pretty much the bottom half of the NFL's talent at their positions teaching them. But when Noah Igbinogheni has Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, and he is still not getting it, that just kind of lets me know, you know what, I don't think his heart is in it, bro. And we can see it in his play.
Can I add to it too? Another depth of it. We can say whatever we want about Flores. The one thing that guy proved he could develop was corners. He moved Eric Rowe to safety and it worked. Needham was a UDFA and look at what Needham's turned into. And Needham isn't as physically gifted as Noah Igbinogheni, but he got that dog in him and he got that work ethic in him. And he's Glock 40, bro. He's a beast. You know what I mean? He got that work ethic. Like we've proven we can develop defensive back. If there's one thing we've proven we can develop in Miami, it's in the secondary. You can go back to Rashad Jones. You can go back to the Surtains and the Madisons. We can
that's in the room right now.
The Buckleys, the Terrell Buckleys. We Jeremiah Bell. Everyone sleeps on Jeremiah Bell. We've been developing them.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
Brock Marion.
Brent Grimes is a beast. Some of his best seasons were as a Dolphin, bro.
Say that. Yeah, very
Just
true.
saying, you know what I mean?
True.
So, I mean...
And Javon Holland has caught on to the trend, too. So
Brandon Jones, I think Brandon Jones is overachieved for what he was coming out of Texas.
True, man. It's just I think we've gotten to the point where we can say, okay, it won't work. It won't work.
Finish him. Bustality.
Noah Igbinogheni. Oh man, that's tough. Man. That's tough.
It is because that's a 30th overall pick, and we had Jonathan Taylor, who you know how badly I wanted Jonathan Taylor,
and I wanted Antoine Winfield right there.
Well, that was the dude I wanted if we didn't go JT, bro.
Yeah,
and I thought Antoine was a lock because Antoine Winfield Sr. is on record as being Flores' like favorite player to ever coach.
Wow. And I thought it was make that pick?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, Antoine Winfield Sr. was a stud, but he didn't have the Vikings. He didn't have the physical tools his kids got, bro. His kids,
he's a monster, man.
Yeah.
Sideline to sideline, bro.
Yeah, bro. That's true second generation right there, bro.
For sure.
Speaking of no monogamy, in the coverage matchups, Mackenzie Alexander, he was targeted 3 times, allowed 1 reception, just that one to Keelan Cole, but he shut down Tyron Johnson, who was giving a couple people problems, for 22 yards and a first down. Kadir Kahu came in. Remember, a UDFA from a real Texas A&M Commerce, a super small school.
I think that's where Daryl Green came from.
Oh, love it! Look at this man coming out of here.
I think.
Look,
check
this out.
Y'all do the Google on that, man.
2 receptions on 3 targets for 4 yards. Let's go.
That shutdown number.
Let's go. Yeah. Sam McGuavin, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 8 yards. I'll take it. Porter Gustin has been him and Darius Hodge have been something to watch. 2 targets, 2 receptions, 11 yards. Nick Needham, 1 reception on 2 targets for 16 yards. And only one of those was after the catch and a first down. Clayton Fledglam targeted twice, allowed 2 receptions for 9 yards. Noah Benogany targeted twice for 26 yards and 2 first downs. A 18-yard reception and an 8-yard reception.
Yeah.
Hey, Cameron Good, he only allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 1 yard. Calvin Munson allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 16 yards. Jerome Baker, there you go, only allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 1 yards. Channing Tindall, again in coverage, allows no receptions on 1 target. He's been something to watch in coverage, getting better. Again, like Skylar, a guy who knew what needed to work on coming out, and you can see he's putting in the work in because it's translating to preseason games. Love it. Elijah Hamilton, 0 receptions on 1 target. Brandon Jones allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 14 yards. And then Jalen Phillips allowed 1 reception for 8 yards on 1 target. They were throwing it around, huh? Elijah Campbell allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 16 yards. Sorry, 15 yards. I apologize. Quincy Wilson allowed, and he's been a safety project of them. They've converted him from corner to safety. He allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 24 yards. And Keon Crossan, who I love what I'm seeing out of Keon Crossan. I've been told. He didn't allow any receptions on 1 target and no yards. Brother, I've been told Keon Crossan that if Byron Jones does not go week 1, Keon Crossan will be going for the Miami Dolphins. So something to keep an eye on. And we'll get into the film here in a sec. Before we do get into the film, though, we got to go over this. And I'll go over them quickly for everyone. Sure. And Martin can chime in. Let's hear what Martin thinks about my takeaways. All right. So I did it last week. I'll do it again this week because I'm not doing full recap shows because I'm waiting for the games that matter. All right. So takeaway number 1, because last week I said Noah is who he is. Takeaway number 1 this week is Noah still is who he is. All right. That's takeaway number 1. We've killed the trade value. I'm going to tell you right now. This is what I've been told privately. All right. If everyone was healthy, I'll read the room to you. If everyone is healthy, this is the pecking order: X, Byron, Needham, Trill, Keon Crossan, Elijah Campbell, Noah Benogany.
I'm not surprised.
Because of 2 injuries to Byron and to Trill. That makes Noah now CB5. And you carry 5 corners. So that's why he's going to make the roster, because of injuries. So let's call a spade what he is, man. I'm hoping someone else steps up and takes his spot because fraudulence.
And I will say, man, I'm curious as to if you're a coach and you're seeing how Noah's performing, right? And you know what type of coverage you want him to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Noah and I don't see a man cover guy. I see a guy that if you put him in a zone, where he has to read keys, I think he's good enough to break on, keys that he's reading if he gets coached up in that way. No different than Richard Sherman with the Seahawks, bro. Richard Sherman wasn't this outstanding man coverage corner. They let him out there on the island where he just played back the entire game pretty much, and he used his football IQ to just make
And your
plays
athleticism
for
to
that
get to this,
defense.
and your athleticism to get to the spots, right?
Right. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins have to really consider, instead of forcing Noah to be, Xavier Howard and let this guy become what he's suitable to be in the NFL. And I think he's a zone
Water
coverage
boy.
corner.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think at the very least you should attempt to go 30 feet deep into making him a primarily zone coverage corner and
Yeah.
see how he reacts to that type of assignment, because right
I
now
agree.
his man coverage is
It's awful.
high schoolers
He's
can
got
beat him right
the
now.
problem is he's got zero ball tracking skills.
Yeah.
You're
Mhm.
the problem is you're seeing all the reasons he was converted from wide receiver to corner. You're
Mhm.
seeing it pop up in man. That's what
Mhm.
you're literally, because you got to be able to play the ball in man. Like
Right.
that's it. You got to be able to. You got to track it. You got to be able to, bro. You got to be able to read the chest and know when to turn
Mhm.
your head and to keep it
Mhm.
on a swivel. It's
It,
like
playing
it's hard, man.
playing cornerback is a lost art. When you look at some of the
Bro, it's
best
one of the hardest
ever,
positions to play next
you're
to the
you're
offensive line, man.
you're literally running backwards the entire game, and you have to be so quick with your feet, your hips, your eyes have to always be in the right spot. So
Discipline. You got to have
yeah,
such disciplined eyes. It's stupid, man.
yeah, I mean it's getting to the point where we got to say to ourselves, okay, let's just go ahead and
You know what the
put him
problem
in
is,
a
Martin?
position where he'll be successful. Mhm.
All the stuff you mentioned, a lot of that turns we label it as the instinctual aspect of the position.
Mhm.
And that stuff only comes with reps. And the problem you run into with a guy who's only played a position for so long, unless he's an uber-duber quick learner and translator
Right.
to the field, you don't
Right.
got times at the end. You don't got time at the NFL level to give those reps because they're going to become a liability to your defense. You just don't. You're going to
Mhm.
get. Are you willing to go? We're in a position to win right now.
Mhm.
We're not
Mhm.
in a position to go out and have someone like that cost us games because they need the reps.
And people don't mention this often. Everything always normally falls onto his shoulders. But even last year, that game he came back against the Jaguars in London. If you look at why Trevor Lawrence looked like the number 1 overall pick, he was picking on Noah Benogany the whole game with Marvin Lewis Jr.
Yeah.
So it was like there was no there was no kind of urgency to get better or to build off of how poorly he played. But there's not much else we can really do for him outside of just placing him in a position to just read zone and react because for him to be playing man on man, I mean, I seen a picture of Noah and burnt toes right next to him. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's pretty accurate.
I put it up on the screen a couple days ago, bro. I'm not even lying.
No,
My number 2
it's pretty
takeaway
accurate.
was, we need more push from the offensive line in the run game.
Uh-huh.
It's clearly obvious. I mean, we got some good push early on when Chase Edmonds broke off to the right, but we really, and they went to the right guard and right tackle. So, Hunt and Jackson did their thing. But the problem is, I mean, go look at the third, go look at those 1 yard conversions we tried to make and we couldn't make with Sony Michel. We couldn't, just like it's a recurring theme of every year, the past couple of years, since that unicorn line when we had Pouncey and those guys, since they all left, we can't get pushed when it matters. And we really didn't start getting consistent. The best push I think we got in all preseason was on that Zacondre White touchdown drive. That's the best push I think we got all season in the run game, consistently all preseason in the run game. It's really worrisome because I know a lot of the stuff is going to be predicated offensively off of our run game.
Yep.
So, and the issue here is they're easily fixable, i.e. Eichenberg doesn't have the anchor. Connor Williams needs to be a left guard, not a center, and you need a competent center there.
You took it right out.
These are fixable solutions that they just decided, whether for stubbornness or ignorance or whatever the case may be. No, we're gonna lock in. And Martin, arrogance, good word. I don't know if I've told you this, Martin, but I'll say it again. I've said this publicly here. As much as people want to say, hey, McDaniel was brought in to get Tua right, people need to realize how this process went when, Garfinkel and Ross and Greer were interviewing him. he gave a list of candidates he wanted at every position. And you look at the guys we filled them with, they were available then, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they were clearly all at the top of the list. So when they looked at the top of the list, I guarantee you they said, hey, we've got an extra third rounder invested in Eichenberg. We got a top 20 pick invested in Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make them work? If you can't make them work this year, we'll go get your guys. And he probably said, sure, but go get me Connor Williams and Taron Armstead. You know what I mean? So, I kind of feel like with Eichenberg, especially at left guard, with we watched every snap of him last year, right? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. We watched every snap of this guy last year. And I feel like we're kind of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole with him at guard. And and this whole forcing Connor out of what I don't get about forcing Connor to center is you could have one of the best left sides in the AFC.
Right. And
go run to that side, bro.
and put it like this, Reason. Why not have Liam Eichenberg stay exclusively at left tackle, knowing that there is a high possibility that Taron Armstead will likely miss 2 to 3 to 4 games, and you have a legitimate natural left tackle in Eichenberg as a viable backup. And obviously it's a high value backup because of how much we spent in the draft to go and get him. But still, do not try to force him into a position where, like you said, no anchor, no feel for center to tackle. Like, why would you force that? Just leave him where he needs to be. Bump Connor Williams back to guard so he can finally officially be where he is best suited. And then forget about how we feel about Michael Dieter and he's no good or whatever. Put Michael Dieter in to see what he can handle this season. And if he's not your guy, no different than any other position from this year moving forward, you go get your guy. Because right now, Connor Williams and Taron Armstead need to find some type of cohesiveness so we can have a legitimate, like how you're saying, a top 5 left side of the offensive line. And then everything else after that will fall in place when it needs to. But right now, man, it's too much. I don't know, man. It's frustrating.
Buddy, the positive ripple effect a legitimate starting center would have on this offensive line cannot be undersold. I mean, it would bump Connor to left guard. Now a legitimate center is next to the developing Robert Hunt, and Austin Jackson is really the only weak link. And that's the only side, Tua or Skylar Thompson or Teddy Bridgewater really have to be concerned about. So the ripple effect is so positive that I just, hey, I mean, that's the hill they're going to clearly die on this season. So I'm just here to watch it. My third takeaway here is, and this is quite simple. If we're carrying 2 quarterbacks, which I don't think we're carrying 3, because I've heard stuff about we want to carry an extra linebacker. We might want to keep 2 fullbacks because of Alec Ingold's injury last year. With this and then 6 receivers, with this wonky roster math, I don't see how 3 quarterbacks works. And this is just simply, I don't got to over explain this. I'm taking if I'm put in that position, Skylar's development over 1 year of Teddy Bridgewater.
That's completely fair. Yeah.
So that would be my next takeaway. My 4 takeaways is the way the number 2s and the number 3s have moved the ball against the defense has me watching closely. So what I mean by this is we've had opportunities at the beginning of the last 2 games where we've had ones out, albeit not all in the secondary, but we've had ones out, all right, especially in the front 7, and they've ran the ball on us periodically at times, and they've pushed the ball down the field on us easily. Now, I know Noah Igbenogany's been to blame for it, but that's a 3rd-year project that they're still throwing out there. So I'm not panicking. I'm not sounding an alarm, but it's a 2-game pattern. Let's call itself what it is. It's a 2-game pattern, and because of patterns, I just watch. That's all I'm saying. I'm not panicking. I'm not raising alarms. I'm not sounding the horn. I'm just saying, if you've been watching, you've noticed the number 2s and the number 3s, because remember, Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask moved the ball against us, right? You saw this past week. Nick Mullins, Jared Stidham, And even Garber's at time move the ball against us, right? I mean,
Yeah,
am I
yeah,
lying?
yeah.
No. So
Mhm,
the reason why I'm keeping my eye on it, Martin, and I'll let you go here. The
mhm,
reason why I'm keeping my eye on it is because we were all curious of how Boyer was going to look with this defense
mhm.
when Flores left. Now, I do recognize we're not opening up the defensive playbook. We're not throwing the kitchen sink at teams. Again, that's why I'm watching closely. I'm not panicking. If this is a pattern that turns into a trend through the season where teams are pushing the ball on us at times very easily, then I will be concerned. But for right
Right.
now, I'm just watching closely because it's a 2-game pattern. That's all.
Mhm.
Your thoughts?
That's completely fair. And um Boyer, I don't know, no different than the offense too. I don't know if we're more interested in showing something, like a zero blitz or what have you, more so than they want to see guys playing the defense that's called. You know what I mean? So it's getting to the point where I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Let things happen this preseason. Let's relax this preseason. The only thing I'm curious about is how we're going to, you know, build into that crescendo heading into the New England week, because
Yeah.
again, week 1 is right around the corner, 20
Can't wait,
20
bro.
days
Why
away.
you
You
gotta
know
get
what I
me
mean?
excited, bro? I got
I'm
it.
just saying. I'm
And
just
bro,
saying.
the
Mhm.
new computer, my new computer, my new monitor has all arrived for all the upgrades I'll be starting at the beginning of the season, bro. So we rolling, baby. It all came in
Mhm.
today. I'm ready to go. G Firm
Mhm.
says, shout out to my dog Martin. Hope to see
Burn.
you on season 3 of Tua Tuesdays or Thompson Tuesday. I'm just kidding, y'all. All in on Tua until further notice. Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not even lying to you. I've already thought about this. If Thompson wins the job or becomes QB1 at any point in his career, and Tua is not here, yes, we will do Thompson Tuesdays, bro. Don't
Wow.
worry. Don't worry. No matter who the
And,
quarterback is, we will have Tuesdays for you, bro.
mm, and
So
people might not think this, but I really like Skylar Thompson, man. I like his transition from college to, and I don't argue about this too much, but
mhm.
I'm a big proponent of the 5-year quarterback from college. The 5-year quarterback, meaning a guy that, if I'm just thinking in my mind, the 5-year process, first year coming in as a true
Red
freshman,
shirt,
you redshirt, right?
yeah,
You redshirt, you learn what it means to be a step closer to, a professional regimen. You wake up early, you go to sleep
yeah,
relatively late, you always work out, you always prepare. You like learn that first. Come through your redshirt freshman year, find a way onto the field. If not, you keep preparing like you are the starter. By the time you
yeah,
get to your redshirt sophomore year, it's all systems go. And then
yeah,
from there, I just need you to just continue to build and build. And then by the time you get to your 5th year, I mean, you pretty much have not only the experience underneath your belt, but your use. You've gotten your mind, your body, and obviously the spirit into the routine of being
yeah.
a professional. Because a professional, the shelf life is around 5 years, just around the time a 5th year senior comes out. So he's used to that. And obviously, when you extend your career, it can become 4 times greater than that 5-year span if you're really that good. So I just
For sure.
I just like that 5-year plan, from college guys, because normally when they come out, they're just beyond ready to take on whatever comes with the NFL. So I
Yeah.
like Skylar, man.
My fifth and final takeaway is Gesicki and the responsibilities of this offense don't mix. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Look at the safety. I mean, that's a perfect example. He didn't get his head snapped back quick enough when Tua hit him in between the eights. And then when that ball came loose from him on that first down from Teddy, listen, right now you're a one-dimensional pass catcher.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not even going to offer me that right now, what are you? Especially
Mm-hmm.
in this system, in this scheme where you've got to be able to block because we are running different things out of very similar looks, and we can't afford to have tells like you on the field. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just think right now, Gesicki and the responsibilities of this offense don't mix. If you're going to trade him, obviously you have to get a third or better because of the compensatory pick you would get next year. Listen, if I could get a legitimate starting center, if I could trade him for Eric McCoy in the New Orleans Saints right now because he's going to be a free agent, show me where to sign up.
And Gesicki is one of the the very few veterans on this team that are playing a whole lot of snaps this preseason.
He's got to relearn. He's got to relearn it. Basically, his position.
I think he's trying to find his place in, like how you're saying, in this system. You know what I mean? Because again, when you see Gesicki on the field nowadays, it's like he sticks out like a sore thumb as far as him not necessarily belonging to that system. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen moving forward because he's getting a lot of film on him. Yeah. But the what he's doing with his reps, it's like I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting, man.
You ready, bro? Let's get into this film.
Let's jump in, man.
We'll do Tua, then we'll do Skylar. We'll go in chronological order. Mm-hmm. I've made the film prettier than I shared it with you, so hopefully everything works beautiful today.
I appreciate that.
So we'll start off with Tua. Let me bring that up here. All right. So starting off with Tua Tagovailoa when we look at the film.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off with the first play as well when we look at the film. All right. So 500 of you in the room. First of all, smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Let's start off with the Tua stuff. So the Dolphins in 11-man personnel. You got Trips bunched to the right, Tua in the gun, Edmonds to his left. So the Raiders are showing a cover 2 look that'll drop into Tampa 2 post snap. So right there, you can see I got Smythe highlighted, right? So it's just simple, right? Snap the ball. Smythe is going to run a hook route. And nice completion. First completion of the game. Simple. Stands up in the pocket as it collapses around him. Nice poise by Tua, right?
Ball came out quickly. It was another decisive decision, and he got it to a guy that he's comfortable with. So that was a good play.
Good play. All right, so now play number 2. So we got a lot to break down on this play. So this is a controversial play a lot of people are looking at, so we're going to take a look at it, all right? So we got 11-man personnel again for the Dolphins. You got Gesicki motioning out of trip bunches to the left side. Tua's in the gun. Edmonds to his right. Raiders show cover 1 man. So there's your motion, all right? So Tua's going to keep his head downfield. Now, you see right now, he's looking at that Cedric Wilson skinny post route that's starting to develop there, okay?
Right.
Right? He's got the inside of the field, and then you got the safety over top. And, Tua sees the safety over top or the skinny post. Now, I'm going to keep going here. I want to show you quickly a little bit more. Let's keep rolling for a sec. So right here, this is where he needs to throw that skinny post if he's going to throw that skinny post, where he's nearing the top of the stem. He's about 2 or 3 yards from getting to the top of the stem of his route. So when he turns into that skinny post, you throw it to a spot, and as soon as he breaks, he can get into it. But again, that safety is going to move off of the skinny post, but he's not at the top of his stem yet, and that safety is still over top of the route.
Yeah.
And you look at Tua, he's cocking back a little bit right now. Right?
Yeah.
So and now you're seeing it. It's starting to develop in the middle. If you look at all that cluster in the middle, and I'll show you here. We'll roll it. We'll continue rolling it a bit more here. And I'll get your thoughts on it in a sec here. So we let this roll. All right. So you look at this cluster going on right now with Connor Williams because he's looked off. And now he's having to flush out because Connor Williams looks like he's going to get arced around by his man. Right? And what you have going on is over the middle here that no one's talking about, there's a mesh concept between Gesicki and Edmonds, right? And Edmonds is going to come free on the mesh. Tua is going to find it. And I'm going to bring it back for you and I'll let you break it down. And Tua's going to find Edmonds on that mesh right here. There's a completion. There's a 14-yard gain. It's nice. But Martin, everyone and their mother is cherry picking this play. They want, and I put it to a perfect spot. They want him to hit this skinny post.
Right.
When, listen, I'm not saying whether he's right or wrong for not throwing it. Our job, Martin, is to tell people why he didn't throw it.
Okay.
And what I'm telling people right now, why he didn't throw it, from what I'm seeing, is from where he knew he had to throw that ball on the stem of his route. He didn't like the safety over top, and the coverage underneath was a little tight. So I'm thinking, and I'm assuming, an educated guess, he's thinking that's going to run into a bracket.
Yeah, it literally, like, obviously
Right?
the like from that spot right there, it looks like you have a man on the outside of your receiver, the man on the inside, and the man over top. So basically that route, it should be completely dead into his mind by the time he gets to that last drop step. Like, so this is how I break down this route concept, and I'll give credit where credit is due. This route concept is absolutely genius. When you see a slot guy doing his skinny post, then you go to the slot guy opposite of him doing a almost like a whip arrow route inside. That's Mike Gesicki. And then you have the other guy all the way at the bottom of the screen right here who runs a comeback. That's literally read 1 with the skinny post, read 2 with Gesicki with the arrow in, and read 3 with the comeback, with Chase Edmonds eventually coming across with that under route as just your last second dump off. This is a genius route concept, first and foremost. But when it comes to the read right now, what I see from Tua is what you just explained. I see a potential bracket. So as far as making that throw, you can't necessarily anticipate him making that type of throw when it's bracketed like that initially. So again, if Tua goes through his progressions, and obviously it's difficult to say just because of how the pocket is relatively good. But
I just played it for a bit for you, Martin. He hasn't even broken yet. Now you see he's just started to stack his man a little bit, right? But the safety's still over top, right?
Right. So again, because the read, I believe, in general, is going to be 1, 2 Gesicki, and 3 with that comeback at the bottom of the screen. If I was Tua, I would have immediately looked towards Gesicki's one-on-one right there. And then if he beats him on the arrow in, then you make that throw right now. But because the offensive line is essentially getting a little bit muddy, that's where the alarm kind of goes off into his head. Okay, this is just around 3 seconds. Where is, what's going on around me? And then he just makes a play with his legs to extend the play, and then dumps it off to his last guy, because he could have hit the cornerback too. But I think because he kind of shuffled and rushed into the pocket, there wasn't enough time to put off a more anticipatory pass on the comeback. So I think overall Tua just made a solid decision in the midst of all that he had to read in that play. And I thought it was just a good play by Tua,
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, he is clear, he knew that safety wasn't moving off the spot. And the safety actually, and shout out to G-Firm, he said, has Skylar been the best QB, best of his QB class so far? I mean, it's preseason, bro. Ask us. Pickett's looked decent. He looked better than I thought he would look, right? Malik looked good last weekend.
I like Sam Howell.
Yeah, you know how I feel about my boy Sammy. So again, we'll give you that judgment when all these guys get ones, not just Skylar, right? So, but just going back to this play for a minute here, bro, appreciate the explanation. I appreciate the in-depth. Remember, guys, Martin's not only a homie. I might have played collegiate ball up in Canada, which is jabroni ball. Martin over here, I mean, this guy played for Florida A&M quarterback, went up against the Miami Hurricanes. He'd been through it. He'd been through the mud. He's telling you, he gives you as objective as it comes, just like I tried to with this position. And you know what? Hey, man, we both played the position, but I lean on Martin a lot, because if there's one man in this community who I think knows what he's talking about, well, there's a few of them, but Martin is amongst those few. Let's put it that way. All right. So, yeah, I just, the safety, bro, the safety didn't move until he got to the top of his stem and broke off into the post, right? Into like the, whatever you want to call it, the slant aspect of the post, whatever. That's when the safety moved, and it's too late now.
Right.
This
Right.
isn't Madden where you're just going to sit back there, drop back 15 yards, and let him run the post all the way to the sideline and make the throw. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
enough of that play.
The coverage dictated for him not to make that throw, and obviously the read, and I'm enjoying seeing Tua go through these reads, high to mid to low. Like he's doing what he's doing what he's been coached to do, man.
Yep. So here you go. We got the Dolphins in a single back 12-man personnel. They got a 1-by-1 receiver set. You see Gesicki's going to motion to that right side. Raiders in a 4-2-5. They'll drop into cover 3 look. And that defensive back, Jonathan Abrams, actually going to blitz off that right edge there. Bro, they keep, I don't know if you noticed, but they've been running this fake toss and teams are just not biting, eh?
Right.
I don't know if you've
I've seen it. Even the first play when they gave the toss, it was already blown up. So
yeah.
I think McDaniels has to go back to his drawing board and say, okay, let's leave the toss out of it until we figure out how to perfect it. So
yeah, and just right there, quickly, guys, Gesicki ran like a pivot route. Tua just put it at his shoelaces, just not to take the sack, right? So that's simple right there. Continuing on. Dolphins now 12-man personnel, strong side to the left.
My fault. Reason is the video playing?
No, I paused it.
Okay, go ahead. My fault.
Two is under center, and Edmonds is the single back. Raiders are in cover 3. So this is that play action with Tua bootlegging to the left, I believe. Yeah, to the strong side right there. And he's just going to take Gesicki underneath. He takes what the defense gives him. I mean, you can't make this, if we go back here, I'm pretty sure this is the play too. You can't make the throw over the middle when he's bootlegging because the linebacker buck drops. Right? I'm pretty sure, right?
That's what happened.
Yeah. The linebacker buck dropped, so he couldn't make the throw over the middle. Let me just show everyone.
He's right there.
Yeah. You see him buck drop, so you can't make that throw over the middle. So he just takes what the defense gives him, and that's Gesicki, and that's what you want him to do.
And there's a real subtlety too that I noticed when I was watching the film. The offensive line, they're really good at this zone action concept where they obviously they're faking a zone run, but it's a pass pro. And let me tell you, man, the protection every time we run a zone fake, it's like it's perfect protection. But when we know we have to throw the football and they're big on big, man, these guys crumble in that situation, bro. I'm just seeing it as something to definitely, like again, I think Mike McDaniels has to put this in his notebook, bro. He has to take care of that issue with the offensive line. They're looking really good in the zone play action scheme, but when it's just man on man blocking, there's leaks all over the place, man.
So now we got them in 11-man personnel. 2-by-2 set, 2 receivers stacked to the right, 2 in that gun with Edmonds. Shout out to the homie Topher with the $9.99 donation. So the Raiders, they give an initial too high look, but they're going to flip into a cover 1 man robber look. Post snap, you're going to see the safety move up. And simple. Tua hits Gesicki right between the numbers. I have paused it where the ball hits Gesicki right between the numbers, and whether his head wasn't turned fast enough or not does not make the play on the football, and the Dolphins now have to punt. So a guy doesn't have good on-field awareness catching the football when he's only known for catching the football. This is the inexcusable stuff. Now, could he have taken a licking over the middle by this robber? Sure, but you're paid $11 million.
Make the catch, right?
Make the first down.
Yeah, it was, and to be fair with Gesicki, the ball clearly caught him by surprise as far as the accuracy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it was literally like in his chest.
Yeah, bam.
And it. Honestly, it can be anybody, bro. If that ball hits you as soon as you make the turn to look to see where the ball is, and it hits you in the chest, it's difficult to kind of react as far as your arms to actually cheer it. So I mean, it was a difficult grab to make, but regardless, I like the throw by Tua. And the coverage was still perfect though, man. Like,
Yeah, he put it on the numbers in perfect coverage, but because Gesicki didn't do his job, no one wants to talk about the throw, bro. It's hilarious.
The throw was essentially
money.
It was a perfect throw. Yeah,
yeah, it was money, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the next one here.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, there you go. One more time for y'all to see Gesicki just not getting it done. There you go. Next one here. So, Dolphins, an 11-man personnel, 2 under center. Edmonds is the single back. 2-by-1 receiver set. Raiders, they give a cover 2 look.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go. Look at this. I want to pause it right here. So let's pause that. So you see where Tua's eyes initially move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tua's eyes initially move. They initially move right there, but he's not going to make that throw because you got, again, a safety over top, but you also got this linebacker here that I've highlighted. He's locked onto his eyes. Like, you know, he bailed. You know, it ain't happening. So you see that Tua cannot take that. And then what you're also going to see here too is what he notices is look at Sherfield, who finds that soft spot because the corner has responsibilities up in the flats.
Correct.
Has to crash on the flat responsibility. He notices, hey, there's that money shot to Sherfield. And Martin, click, click, boom, nails it. Hits Sherfield. Look at that. Perfect throw. Big completion. Big first down. Rolling through his progressions.
Right.
Snap in the head. I like it, Martin.
It was an excellent rep by Tua. He read everything perfectly. He made the perfect decision, and it was perfect timing. So you couldn't ask for nothing more than that. That was a great play by Tua.
Love it, man. Love it, bro. So there's good stuff from both these guys. You know what I'm saying? Everyone trying to nitpick. Both these guys showed you good stuff if you watch the film, you know? Dolphins now, 11-man personnel again. 2 in the gun. Edmonds to his right. Gesicki motions to the left. Raiders are going to show cover 1 press man and drop into a Tampa 2 look off the motion. Okay, this is the throw you didn't like and the throw I didn't like, so you go ahead, bro.
This is
the Edmonds predetermined.
Yes. Only because we're in third down. We're in third and manageable. That's another key to that. And they're showing you Tampa 2, right? Cedric Wilson is still this is his first year with us, but he's still a relatively.
I've highlighted it for you on the screen, Martin. What you're talking about?
He's a vet, man. So as soon as he sees that linebacker is bailing in his tamper coverage, I mean, he just go ahead and sits down in the soft zone.
Yep.
And Tua has to anticipate what the defense is actually going to give him instead of kind of predetermining what he thinks they're going to give him. He has to read that a little bit quicker and a little better, and he has to just give that ball to Cedric, because let me tell you, when he didn't throw the ball, Cedric was just standing there like like he was literally frozen, like,
bro. He's been having a picnic.
He was frozen like, I can't believe he ain't throw it to me.
I've got it on the screen for you, Martin. I've highlighted. You see in the flat the defender. Look at how easily he's like, Edmonds had to make a nice play to get the first, right? Whereas Cedric's past the sticks right now.
Right.
I mean,
first down. Right.
I mean, we got to be objective. This is not a good play from Tua Tagovailoa. This is the stuff we saw last year we didn't like, where he was predetermining reads and leaving stuff on the field because he predetermined where he was going with the football. This is the stuff we need to see him be cleaning up and to stop doing, stop relying and stop using as a crutch. You know what I mean?
Right. And again, Daryl Bevel, Mike McDaniel, Tua, they're all watching this and they're saying to themselves, Tua, you got to be better than that. And Tua knows it.
Take that hook route, man. It's right there in front of you.
It's perfectly in front of him. And also, if you go back to the beginning of that play, when you clearly can see everybody, hunched over at the line of scrimmage, you have to anticipate blitz. And the blitz beaters are the hot routes. Cedric is right there. You have to anticipate at the very least a hot route, and he
And
gave
the middle
it
of
to
the
you.
field. Look at the middle. The middle
Yeah.
field screens Tampa, bro. Like,
Right.
you look at the middle of the field, they're screaming Tampa at you right now.
Right. It'll be different if that linebacker, instead of bailing in his Tampa, stepped up. You know what I mean? To kind of, fill in for the blitz guys, but he didn't. He bailed out. So that's a telltale sign, Tua, boom. Just make that throw, man. Stay calm and make the throw.
Yeah. So, but hey, what are we on? We're on throw 7, and this is the first time we're really not seeing what we like. You know what I mean? So, hey, it is what it is, man. Now let's go into the next one. All right, so here we go. This is the final throw of Tua. They got Dolphins 12-man personnel. Smythe motioning to the left side there. Tua's under center. Michelle is the single back. Raiders showing cover 2, and again they're going to drop into that Tampa 2 after the play action. And here I'll stop it for you guys. Watch. Here you get that step that we were talking about, eh? See, so he stepped off the play action, right? You see him stepping up off the play action there. But now he's going to reverse pivot, and he's going to try and make up on Sherfield's little skinny post there.
Right.
The linebackers were covered. So Tua is now going to move towards his next progression, which is Cedric on the comeback. Problem is, okay, I've showed you guys here. Linebackers closed the gap on that skinny post. And the problem here is I want to show everyone, if you go look at the top there, why I have that arrow between the defender and the receiver, that's Cedric Wilson. I'm going to just lay it out for you guys. The hips, guys. The hips tell you the tail. The hips are opened towards the receiver, meaning that he's baiting me. He's sitting there waiting for me to take that shot. He's got his hip open toward me. He's either going to undercut the route or he's going to make a play at the catch point on the football. That's what that's telling me off those hips. I don't know that. I'm sure that screams that to you too, Martin.
Absolutely.
And that's why he's going to look off Cedric Wilson here. And, he's going to take Gesicki into that flat. I mean, that's a smart play right there. The hips tell you the story. So your thoughts, I'll bring it back for you too.
And mind you, let's give a special shout out to Coach Welker for the perfect, post and then corner route. If you rewind back with no pause, can you play with no pause?
I can't play with no pause because it's going to automatically stop at the points where I've highlighted stuff. I'll bring it back though for you.
I'm just saying, if you saw the play from beginning throughout the entirety of the play, both wide receivers ran their routes at the exact same time. That's Coach Welker for you, man.
Yeah, I'll run it for you while you talk. I'll run it full blast, even with the stops. Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach Welker, boom, right there. Like when you see that happen, that means the play was perfectly designed for a play action look. You see the defensive player, obviously his back is turned, but his body trajectory is in the way of making a throw over the top. If you try to pin that throw, if you try to as far as your pitch option, if you try to kind of fluff that throw inside in between that linebacker and that overhead safety, that's still a relatively dangerous throw. So Tua's reading it. He sees that first read, that the skinny post is essentially covered, and then he goes to his second read, which is Wilson, and he's on the corner route. That's going to be swallowed up. So he just goes through his progression, 1, 2, and then obviously 3 with Gesicki with the delayed block in the flat. So it's a good play by Tua, man.
Because the other thing too, Martin, I just want to add to what you're saying, and I'll go back to where they're highlighted, right? Let me bring it back here for a sec. Okay. Also, what this corner has done by opening his hips towards the receiver, guys, Cedric Wilson, he's also told you he's giving you the flats, right? He's shown you, I'm committed to this route over top of me. I'm giving you underneath. That's what that also. So by the play design, we didn't know till it happened, but Tua knows Gesicki's about to leak out into that area. So when he sees that second progression is not there, by just reading what's in front of him, he knows underneath is going to be there all day. So again, he's reading off that second progression to that third one. And man, I mean, dude, it's not sexy, but it's smart football.
Right.
Like, what
He
do you
got it
want me?
done.
Like,
Look, and again, if you think about what happened last year, right?
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons game, we're in the red zone. Tua forced a play before halftime to Durham Smythe when he had another guy just wide open at the first level of the field, and we were killing him for not making that throw at the first level. It was a risk to take that shot in the red zone, in the end zone, just before the half, when all you had to do was hold on to the ball, and we had at the very least a field goal in our hands. So now that he's making these reads like how we need them to make them, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't sometimes when it comes to how we're viewing Tua. And trust me, man, he's making all the right decisions. We just have to be patient with the big plays that will come in time,
especially when our ones are out there too. Let's be honest
Absolutely.
with ourselves,
Right.
So let's get into Skylar here, guys. Man, it's bro. We're bringing it back to Tua Tuesday, man. It's bringing me back a flashback, bro. I can't wait till the season starts when me and you and ball game get going on it. 534 of you in the room, guys. Every Tuesday night, me, Martin, and ball game, we break down every drop back of the starting quarterback because we've had to do it without Tua. So Tua Tuesdays is what we call it on this channel. So be out on the lookout for that. But let's get into Skylar. Because there's a lot of good stuff to like about Skylar. Like, why can't we?
I love Skylar. I love Skylar, man.
Yeah, shame on me for really liking both of our options right now, eh? Hey, I'm a piece of crap. All right, so it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. So 11-man personnel for the Dolphins, 2x2 receiver set. Skylar's in the gun. Raiders are in a single high man look. Okay, so we're gonna show a couple things on there. Yep. And explain to them what you mean by man free in terms of with the safety.
Yeah, man free is literally when you have every defensive player between levels 1 and 2 manned up. They're whoever's in front of them, they're locked on, they're manned up. And then the free part is the free safety, just pretty much playing midfield. Yeah,
and he's like a safety valve, right?
Exactly. Last line of defense.
Yeah. All right. So I just, because some people here say press man and man free, so I just said, hey, let's just explain that to them,
Right.
So there's a couple things here. So Kinley, there you see, I've highlighted Easy E. Kinley is going to get absolutely dominated in that B gap. You see it. I've shown you right there. It's over. Skylar takes the hit and gets the ball still to Easy E. Absolutely. And we'll see from this angle. It's a better angle on the other way. Look at everyone wilding out.
Right.
So keep your look on. They've got Kinley at right guard here. This is a fantastic adjustment by Eric Izakama. Like, the kid is ridiculous. You're going to see here, Skylar's going to actually get hit right as the ball is coming out. And what it does to the football too, actually, is the ball dies on him a little bit right there. Look at that catch. Look at the adjustment. And you know what? It's actually better that it was underthrown and wobbly, because if the juice was on it, that it looks like he wanted to put on it before he was getting hit,
the DB might have made a better play.
Exactly. So hey, it worked out for Skylar. It's coming up lucky for Skylar, right? So you got to be good to be lucky, and you got to be lucky to be good, bro.
And I'm gonna say this right now. Ezukama is flirting with having a major role in this offense very soon.
Yes,
because every time I see this kid, whether it be practice or even in these game situations, he is making like plays, legitimate plays that you can say it doesn't matter who's guarding him. He might be our best one-on-one wide receiver guy outside of Tyreek Hill. And obviously people might argue with me about Jalen Waddle, but Waddle's speed is the reason why he's a good one-on-one guy. But Ezukama, as just a body man, like just.
Can I be honest with you? Because you know how EM loves DVP. You know what I said to EM? I said, maybe Izakama is going to become everything we wanted DVP to become. Right?
Whoa. and then some, because there's still so much room to grow
I love it.
as far as that ceiling. So,
Bro, why you getting me excited, bro? I love it. All right, second play, guys. Hey, Skylar fans with your tinfoil QB1 hats on, pay attention right now, because we got something you're not going to like right here, because we know a lot of you ones are the same ones. Oh, Tua keeps missing reads. Tua leaves reads on the field, when really y'all are telling on yourselves that you've never actually broken down and watched extensive quarterback film, because guess what? Even Rodgers and Brady leave reads on the field. It happens, all right? Even with the greatest, all right? Marino didn't make every read that opened up for him, okay? Let's call it what it is, all right? So, you got 11-man personnel for the Dolphins, 2x2 receivers. Skylar is in the gun. Gaskin is to his left. Raiders give a quarter coverage look. So I want everyone to watch at the top of the screen. There is a burly white man in an aqua uniform at the top of the screen, named Hunter Long. And this is what's going to happen, guys. Listen, Skylar, as much as we like plays where we see him going through all of his reads, we're about to show you a play where, because he doesn't go through all of his progressions and he locks in on a target, he misses a big-time hole shot for 6. So this is what's going to happen. Skylar, he is going to, if you watch at the top, I'll freeze it for you guys too. I believe I do. So you watch it here. All right. He's right there. He's watching. His eyes are on Eric Izakama. Eric Izakama is about to run a deep dig. He's seeing Izakama's already stacking, right? He sees a little bit of that middle of the field, but that linebacker that's sitting there just, at the 44, what do you think he's watching right now? Eyes, baby. Eyes all day. So he sees the eyes locked in on that. And so I like to freeze it because I want people to see this develop. All right? So, but let's watch Hunter at the top here, because guess what's going to happen as we roll play here? The DB has totally released him. He's passed Hunter off to safety help, and I've marked you. Look at where the safety is.
Cover 2 sticks.
Yes, sir. And look at where Skylar's eyes are still on that dig. Still locked in on that dig. All right? And what's going to happen? He's going to stay locked in on that dig that it's basically going to get taken away from as the play, right? Taken away. Taken away. It's gone. And so now what does he have to do? If you look at
read.
Well, actually, I might bring it back. Okay? Because he's going to find Preston there, right? For the completion. But I want you to see something here. Let me see if I can find it. I might not be able to, because look at where Preston is right now. Preston is sitting there, bro. He's not moving. Now I'm going to role play. Look at Preston is moving into his sight line. Did you see the move he just made? He noticed he was he was watching the eyes and knew he was looking at the dig. Look at this dig is in triangle coverage right now, because all 3 guys were watching the eyes and saw where Skylar was looking. Right? Hunter Long's over here running like Forrest Gump, ready to go out the end zone. And you got Preston. Preston had to make a move to get back into the sight line of Skylar when you actually watch this play develop. And then he gets the completion. And hey, he got the completion, he got the first down. But guess what, guys? Newsflash. The one some of y'all are anointing, he's doing the same thing y'all hated Tua for.
Yeah, and I will say this: the whole shot that he missed, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, there are probably in the NFL right now a handful of quarterbacks that will absolutely make that throw and absolutely take that shot. Kirk Cousins is not one of them. Dak Prescott is not one of them. And clearly Skylar Thompson is not one of them. I think Skylar Thompson knows his limitations, because essentially when you talk about him getting to his drop step I'm just saying at the 44-yard line.
All right, go ahead.
Literally that is probably a 50-yard throw from where Skylar
Yeah,
Thompson is.
because he's from the
So
far inside hash, right?
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and we're talking about throwing to the
Opposite field.
sideline. So that's literally a 50-yard rope. As good as an arm that Skylar Thompson has, he does not have like a Josh Allen arm. He does not have an Aaron Rodgers arm. You know what I mean? He does not have one of those, once in a generation type of arms. He doesn't have that. So I think because of that limitation, I don't think Skylar could have made that throw regardless. So I think he's just going
I'm not
through
even
his
whether he can make it or not. If you watch his head, he didn't even see it. That's what I'm talking about.
That too, right? That too,
right? Like that's what I'm saying about he didn't see it. That's where I'm about. And I'll be honest with you. My rebuttal to you is this: when you look at him on the next drive, when you look at that sideline throw and that that whole shot and then that ear shot he makes, I mean, that's a guy throwing a football with. I'm saying. What you see happen on this drive when you actually look at the context of this drive, and a lot of it is on Eric Izakama. Skylar's confidence really got built up by Preston made plays on this drive, Izakama made plays on this drive, Zaquandre White made a play on this drive, and then you saw it translate into his next drive when then he started making the whole shots and the ear shots. Then you saw him starting to make those big boy throws because you could tell he was throwing with a level of confidence. I think right now what are we coming off? We're coming off that shot he just took to Eric Izakama where, bro, he didn't get everything he wanted behind it and he lucked out. So he's probably sitting here saying, and look at that. And another telltale sign, who's the guy he's locking onto right now?
Eric, easy.
The guy who just bailed him out. So he's showing you where his confidence is lying right now because he's locking in on him.
Sure.
That's why he missed it. That's why he missed it. You know what I mean? So
he wasn't even paying attention to it in the first place.
Yeah. So that's where I'm more. Because I'll tell you this one. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. On that second drive, it looks like he would have taken this shot if he saw it, bro. I'm just saying, dude. On that second drive, he looked very confident, and I loved seeing it.
And I'll tell you what, I think when it comes to what you saw in this drive and what you saw the second drive, right? I think they went over the film, on the
surface
film
tablet
on the surface, and they saw that the Raiders are consistently running this Tampa 2 coverage, right? Tampa 2 soft. So once you see that, I think they started saying, look, make that throw, and then just by osmosis, he goes back on the field and he just starts trusting what he sees and starts making throws,
Bro, that second drive, I loved it, bro. That second drive, man, those are some big boy throws. I said to EM, all you QB1 Skylar fanatics, those are the throws you hang your hat on.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
They're big boy throws, man. Like, let's call it spade.
And regardless of competition, he still has to make the right read and he still has to make the right throw. So regardless, it's just awesome.
Yep. So Dolphins 12-man personnel. 21-man personnel. Oh no, my bad. 12-man personnel. Skylar under center with Gaskin as a single back. Carter motion is gonna motion in line to the left. 2 receivers to the left. Raiders in cover 3. Now I'm gonna show this. Now I'm just making a point. So, you see the 2 receivers to the left there that I've highlighted. Now he's going to bootleg and roll. Now he's locked in on Preston to that left side. He would have to, I just want to explain people here who are going to see this. Now you're going to have Long and Bowden. They're going to come over the middle of the vacated area. Long's running like a shallow crosser and Bowden has like a corner route. The reason why he can't make this throw and why he's locking in on Preston is because he can't turn his body and reset due to this pursuing linebacker.
Right.
So he's got to make this throw. So people who might say, oh, these guys are wide open over the middle, he's got to make this throw because of this pursuing linebacker. If he tries to flip his hips and reset, he's going to get lit up before he even makes a throw.
And it might be too late as far as him setting up to even try to attempt that throw. So
and look at the play Preston made. Look at the effort.
Preston don't want to get traded.
Where's this guy been, bro?
He said, I like South Beach.
So Dolphins now in 12-man personnel. Skylar under center. White is the single back. Zaquandre, Dr. White. A one by one receiver set. Raiders again, cover 3.
Mm-hmm.
Skylar targets Bowden right here on that comeback route. And I mean, there's nothing else to say except that the throw is going to be low and a tad short. And Bowden's going to try his best to snag it, but he's just not going to be able to get his hands on that.
Right.
You know, it is what it is, man. It happens. You know, I know some of y'all would crucify Tua if he did that, but I ain't going to crucify Thompson over that.
That's
a guy who has a liver arm than Tua, and I'm not crucifying him. So it happens, man. You think every throw is going to be perfection? No, it's not going to happen.
I'm absolutely addicted to this offensive line's play action. You know, the zone action is working to perfection right now.
Yeah.
Even though our running game is inefficient this preseason, it's still working effectively. So that's super encouraging to see, man. To be honest.
Agreed. And now continuing on. So the Dolphins are in a 21-man I formation look. 2-by-1 receiver set with long and motion in line. Cover 1 by the Raiders. It's going to be play action off of the snap. And I'm going to pause it for you guys so you can see it. I'll highlight it. Don't you worry. Disaster Central has been highlighted in the trenches for you guys. If you actually watch in there, you're going to see 66 if you look closely. A defender is actually going to spin move off of Kinley. And what sucks about this, again, Hunter Long. Look at Hunter leaking. Hunter is gone. But guess what? Because of the pressure, Skylar can't make the read. Listen, this is an example of what I've been stressing for 3 years now. Doesn't matter whether it's Skylar. Doesn't matter whether it's Tua. We've just highlighted a play where the offensive line took 6 points off the board. That's what it is. All right? The protection wasn't good enough. He's wide open. I mean, and you can't fault Skylar because look at him. Skylar is now going to get, it's already pursuing. The guy's reaching out to grab him. And this is where he grabs him and he pulls him down, but he still gets off the throw to Preston for completion. The huge play by Skylar. But look at the play that was left on the field because the offensive line. It don't matter whether it's Thompson or Tua. That's good. I said this to EM. It don't matter whether it's Thompson or Tua in there. The offensive line is going to cost this team at some point.
They have to get it right. They have to get it right. But I will say this too, right, about that play, about missing Hunter Long, right? If you look closely too,
I mean, there's nothing else you can do, bro.
No, but if you look closely, and it's very subtle at the very beginning of that play, he bobbled the snap. And when you bobble the snap in play action, that completely throws off the rhythm.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
It throws off the rhythm to the point where.
Bro.
Yeah. Well, just because I know how smooth that has to be for a play action. So once he bobbled that, there was like an almost subtle like panic, and he didn't quite get an opportunity to really read the defense and understand that Long was going to be wide open, coming across the field.
But I don't think even still, if that would have been a clean handoff, I think the pressure wouldn't have allowed him to make that read anyways.
It's tough to say.
Like, watch. Well, here we go. We'll go from snap to whatever. Snap. Look at this. He hasn't even set yet, right? Now he's at the back of his drop back. Look at this, bro. This man just got
right
to the
there.
top of his drop, and look at this stuff, bro. You got 3 guys coming off the left. You got 1 coming off the right, and then look at he literally what he did. He did 1 little bob in the pocket, and the guy was bearing down on him.
And Jaquandre Wright didn't even touch nobody, man. That was so disappointing. I was like, come on, bro.
Yeah, he would have needed time to make that. He would have needed time because his head opened up to the right. It didn't even open up to the left, right? So he would have needed time to roll.
But he still made a hell of a play,
He did, bro.
Just extending and then putting it on him.
Bro, high effort throw. That was a high effort throw to outmuscle that defender and get the ball to Preston Williams, who just sat on top of the drag route. Another good move by Preston Williams is notice he was under duress and put himself in a position to bail the quarterback out. So that's good stuff. Dolphins and 11-man personnel. Skylar under center. White's a single back. The Raiders are in a cloud concept with cover 3 to the left, cover 1 to the right side. And White, he's going to leak out of the backfield into the flats for the completion. And he's going to make a man miss with an absolutely fantastic move. Look at this. Whoop! And takes it in for the score. And then does a little dance. Makes a little love. And he got down that night. Beautiful stuff, man. Nothing really crazy to go over there. Now let's get into the unrealness. So the Dolphins are an 11-man personnel. Skylar's in the gun. White to his left. 2x1 receiver set. I've highlighted Eric as a comma for you guys. Raiders give a cover 6 look, but they're going to roll into more of that Tampa 2 look post snap. And this is going to be Skylar's first big boy throw. Look at this. Look at where that circle, guys. The ball is in that circle. The ball is in that circle.
Perfect product placement. Yeah. Perfect ball placement.
Unreal. And I'm going to show you this. You know, nailing is a calm on that deep outside of the numbers over an outstretched defender with a beautiful hole shot. Look at that. I've circled it again. Look at that.
It's perfect.
Man, what a throw by Skylar.
And I don't know how much Skylar's been hanging around Tua, but that eye manipulation for him to open his body like he was about to throw the flats to Ethan Carter and immediately flip his hips to throw to Ezekama right there. I mean, that's just like you can rewind it from the God view, and you can see, you can literally see, you know, Skylar literally manipulating the defense by opening up that right hip as if he's going to throw that flat and then just suddenly, you know, get
right
set.
Right there. He just did it.
Right there.
He just did it. And then boom, he goes the other way. Love it.
That's a hell of a play. That's a hell of a play, man. That's a hell of a play, man.
Great stuff by Skylar, man.
Ezekama, man.
That's a dude.
I'm not gonna make a hot take, but man, he's my wide receiver too right now, bro. I'm sorry.
Over Waddle?
He is my wide receiver too right now. Over Waddle, not necessarily because you know Waddle's not. I think Waddle needs to work. As a
you have basically he's your wide receiver too because he's your X and Tyreek and Waddle are your Y and your Z. They can rotate.
I just like that combo a little bit better. You know, as far as you know, making big plays onto the football, man. That's just me right now. Ezekama is playing out of his mind right now.
Hot take season, bro.
I'm just saying, man. People gonna hate me for that, but hey.
So now we got the Dolphins and 11-man personnel. Skylar in the gun with White to his right and 2x1 receiver set. You ready for even CB83 said, now you tripping, Martin. Raiders again show cover 6. This time with cover 2 to the left, cover 4 to the right. Again, they're going to roll in to Tampa coverage post snap. White's going to come open out of the backfield on a stab route. Preston is going to come open to the left on a hook route, but he chooses that big boy throw to Ezekama on that seam route.
Well, he's taking the shot, man. He's taking the shot.
That touch, and I know I had this conversation with you privately, and I know I had this conversation up here on Phinside The NFL. That touch over that intermediate level, that's what I said was missing when he came out of Kansas. That ball placement, that touch, that accuracy, that's what he was missing at Kansas consistently, bro. And when I see this back-to-back on these big boy throws, man, I get excited about it. That's an area I had said I want to see improvement from him. And with Darrell Bevel and personnel, I've seen tangible growth in that deep to intermediate level touch, accuracy, and placement, and that's where he needed to grow. I even on record, I said that's he needs to grow in that area to become an NFL starter one day. and I'm seeing the growth, and
already.
I
Yeah.
like it, man.
Yeah,
Darrell
man.
Bevel is that dude. I mean, there's few quarterback whispers in this league. Pep
Right.
Hamilton,
Right.
Darrell Bevel is one of those, man.
That's true.
Legit.
That's true, man. And to be honest,
And
the
this is, and I gotta add this. Sorry, talking about Darrell
mhm.
Bevel. People need to remember, Skylar is Darrell Bevel's guy. That's Darrell Bevel was the one pushing for him. So
Because he knew.
yeah.
Look, and Skylar's making these throws with just good rhythm and good timing, and that's literally all it really takes to really push the ball down the field, especially when you're going up against a defense like this that's giving you those zone coverages. All it is rhythm and timing to really consistently make those throws. And if you give us the God view next, is it a bit
Yep,
right
yep.
here? Like when you see the rhythm in this and the timing in this is perfect. Right there, perfect. Yeah,
Look at that.
it's perfect.
Look at that.
Rhythm, timing, whole shot, seam shot. It's you can't draw it up any better, man.
Oof.
You love to see that.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful stuff.
As we come a wide receiver 3, man. He's
coming
climbing
for
the
wide
ladder,
receiver.
bro.
He's coming. He's coming for that spot. Again, they're just gonna run a bubble screen as a comma here, and they crash down on it. Doesn't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
well played by the Raiders, man.
Yeah, definitely well played by Raiders. And then the final throw here again, it's gonna be as a comma. He's just going all day, eh? That's just throw it to who you trust, man. He gets the inside on that slant. And that's it for Skylar, man, and that's it for Tua. Bro.
Yeah, man.
Final thoughts before we get out of here on final takeaways on the film, man.
You know what? Everybody showed good things, including Teddy Bridgewater. Outside of that sack that he kind of gave up.
Yeah,
Teddy made some big time throws. Tua was extra efficient. And again, when we're talking about Tua for the past 2 seasons, what I've been harping on is we have to get away from those zone read, one read throws. And now that we're seeing Tua, in this new system, it fills my heart to see this guy go from 1 read to 2 reads to 3. That's exactly how you need to play Tua Tagovailoa in this NFL. He needs to be in the pocket. He needs to read all 3 levels, and you need to coach him into that. And I'm just glad I'm seeing that, early and often as far as what we've seen in this preseason so far. And obviously Skylar has been not even a pleasant surprise. He's been one of the biggest acquisitions we had this offseason as far as
our draft class has totally been good, I think, so far. Even our UDFAs, some of our UDFAs, man.
Right. It feels good that they have a plan in place for player development, and Skylar's clearly showing that he's well on his way to getting to that level where he's going to be at the very least as a floor one of the best backups in this league, if not to propel himself into a starting role, whether it be here or somewhere else. He's setting up his resume for that type of result. So I love what I'm seeing from that kid, man.
Appreciate you for coming through, Martin. Always fun. I can't wait till we get Tua Tuesdays rolling again this season, bro, with ball game. It's going to be good stuff. Everyone make sure you tune in every Tuesday night. We'll be breaking down the film of Tua Tagovailoa, Martin, and ball game. I'll be back tomorrow night, guys, because guess what? We go down from 85 to 80 tomorrow. So there will be 5 cuts tomorrow. And then Wednesday and Thursday, they're back at joint practice. So I'll be back tomorrow night. Maybe we'll take a look at I'll figure out a player that we'll take a look at tomorrow. Maybe a little mini film study. So again, Martin, appreciate you for coming through, man. Always a
appreciate
blast.
You for having me,
I just love talking ball with you. Honestly, everyone knows, Phinside, day one over here, man, through and through. So I appreciate you for always supporting, bro, and always, being a part of this channel. You are a legitimate, integral part of this channel, bro. So,
big salute, man.
I appreciate you for your help with the channel, but also, for your friendship, bro. You've also become one of my good friends in this community too. So,
for sure.
Absolutely fantastic, man.
For sure.
An absolutely fantastic football mind. So always good chopping it up with you guys. I will be back tomorrow night. I will see all y'all around 8 o'clock. As always, stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. Fins up all day, every day. And as always, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay, baby. Let's go.